Kellie, tell me about Mick. What was he like as a person?
A character,
Yeah.
a real character, always the life and soul of a party, the person telling jokes. You could always hear him wherever he was. He was loud. He was just, yeah, he was an amazing person who he had so many friends and so many people looked up to him and turned to him for help as well.
So Mick served 17 years in the North Yorkshire Police Force,
yes.
And he served 12 years as a dog handler. What did that role mean to Mick?
It meant everything to him. It's what he'd wanted to do when he wanted to join the police. At age 19, it was his aim to be a dog handler right from the start. So it meant everything to him. It's what he'd always wanted to do. He loved the challenges of the job as well, and the rewards that brought, and being out and about. He was a real out and about person, so working outdoors suited him.
So Mick had suffered an injury which had forced him out of work or off work for 18 months. How did that affect him?
At first it was just that he knew he had to have his knees operated on, so at first it was just looking to be a short-term period away from work, and then looking to how to get back to work. Once he'd had the first operation, it became evident that it was much worse than anybody thought, and then he had the second operation pretty quickly afterwards. And then his pain didn't improve and deteriorated, so it was then a case of could he ever work as a dog handler again, which he found really, really tough.
So in October, Mick took the decision to take his own life. Did you have any idea, or were there any signs of how low and how bad he was feeling?
No, not to that extent at all. We knew he was down. We knew he was finding things tough. He was telling friends in messages, when they were saying, "Are you okay?" Well, it could be better, and there's a lot going on at work. He had bouts of times when he would cry. He had times when he would be just not himself. I remember one day going up to him and standing in the kitchen. I think he was washing up, and I sort of went up behind him and asking him if he was okay. "I'm okay, there's just a lot going on, I'll be glad when it's all over," his usual response. And I said, "I want my old Michael back," and it upset him when I said that. And I said, that's not a criticism, it's just I know there's a lot going on. And he was, "I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Nothing to be sorry about, it's just that I know you're not yourself." And then his response was, I'm fine, it'll all be over soon, you don't need to worry about me." But he wasn't himself, but we didn't know that he was so ill.
Did he ever talk? Did he ever open up? Or was it a case of every time you asked him, "I'm fine," that was his answer, because he didn't want to, almost burden you with his thoughts, his feelings?
Yeah, he did talk. He talked about how the pain was making him feel. He talked about what the impact work was having on him and how they were making him feel. But at the same time, he would also say, I don't want you worrying about me. And when we had a conversation that it's part of my job, if you like, as your partner, it's part of what I want to do, to look after you. And he felt that he needed to look after everybody else. He should be the person looking after everybody else. I don't want you worrying about me. I don't want to be a burden. He would say that. So there was an awful lot more, obviously, going on than we realised.
How did you feel when you realised Mick had taken his life, and did you feel like maybe there was something you could do or could have done?
It's so many questions, and you go through. You have times when you feel like, you sort of, I guess it's like a storm in the sea, and you're bobbing along in the boat on top of it, and there's this storm going underneath, and then sometimes it just pulls you straight under, or you have a memory, or you look at a photograph, or somebody says something, and it's those memories that trigger questions then. And there's so many what if questions that you have. What if we'd have done this? What if I'd have said this? What if I'd have asked that question? Constantly going round. And I know it's not just me, I know that there's a lot of people have that as well. If the questions, I wish she was here to answer the questions that we've got.
Has what happened to Mick kind of changed how you deal and address with your feelings, and perhaps children's as well?
It has. It's changed the dynamic of everything. I mean, I keep saying to the children, you must talk and tell me how you feel, and it's okay to cry, to get upset. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to say I'm feeling angry. It's okay to say I'm really upset. Whatever emotion you're feeling, it's your personal emotion, so you shouldn't question it, because it is you. I think probably I've tried to hide some of my emotions from the children, but I've realised now that that's probably more damaging in the long run. So to be open with them and to say, I am sad today, or I'm not having a very good day, so that they understand what's happening. I think they were probably looking at me and sensing, you're not quite right, but you're telling me you're okay. And then I reflected on that and thought, that's not healthy at all. They need to, if they're sensing things are not right, I need to be open with them and share that, and that'll help them to deal with their emotions as well, I hope.
How do you explain it to perhaps the children when it's not something they can see, not the illness?
It's been hard. We've talked about that Mick had a poorly mind, and it wasn't Mick, as they know, that made that decision, that all the things he said to them, all the promises that he made them when he told them that he loved them and he'd always be there for them, that was Mick. The Mick that made this decision was very ill. Mick, it was his mind that made that decision, just as I've equated it to them as if you had another illness, and the other illness was, taking over your body, that you have no control over that, and it's the same with the mind. Is the only way I've been able to explain it to them.
And for you as well, you both were making plans for the future.
We were. We had holidays booked. We just bought a new house that needed quite a lot of work doing to it, so we had that planned. We'd had the planning permission through for the extension, all sorts planned in for next year. And Elizabeth was only 6 months old, so she's got a whole life ahead of her.
So with what you've experienced and had to go through, what would you say to anybody who was listening or watching this, who may be suffering or feeling low? What would your advice be?
Oh goodness, I just keep saying talk. You've got to talk, and I think probably when you've got a physical illness, you go to the doctors and you ask for help. Sometimes when it's mental health, you think ahead too far. You think ahead of the consequences of, what will happen in my job, what will happen to my family, will I be able to keep my children, is the stigma around mental health. And we need to, that needs to be abolished. We need to accept that mental health illness is equal to any other illness that you get, and to not worry too far ahead about the consequences, not worry about what other people will think, and understand that your family and friends want to look after you. They get pleasure from looking after you, so if you're thinking you're a burden, it's the absolute opposite. People want to be there for you.